stopped on list, so I had like a bit of like Wi-Fi problems, and I had to take a break from all this. So now my Wi-Fi is back. I just realized I even closed this with 3 schools. With 3 schools, Python, variables, lists. All right. Yeah. So basically, lists, something that's also very important. I mentioned, I think, in a previous video that in every programming language you have some sort of list function of some sort, right? So the according to this, the 3 types of lists. You have the normal list. I think I'll go into each one of them. 4 types, sorry. Arrays. I'll go into each one of them individually, um, so that I don't confuse you. But this list thingies are, I'd say, one of my favorite things about coding. I find them so useful. And again, you can't really appreciate them until you actually use them in a programming problem or something like that. But yeah, so this is an example of the first list. They call this a list. Yeah, I guess you can call it a list. Uh, did I talk about the whole comments thing? I should really talk about the comments, but so this, oh, comments is basically, if I don't send a video about comments, just know that comments is basically something you put in your videos. The computer doesn't run over it, so these instructions, the computer doesn't read them. They just help you with keeping track of what your code and all these things. But yeah, so this is a list, right? So, like every other concept in programming, you're probably wondering, like, okay, how do I use this, right? So I think one of the advantages of lists is that it I had this very good example when I was before my Wi-Fi kind of stopped working. This example that, so for example, let's say I want to print Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So I can say weekdays 1, and then I can call it Monday. Sorry, I can put a string as Monday, and then weekdays 2. Call this now Tuesday, and sometimes it just gets so, like you have too many variables, right? And it can make your code like too much, right? And so that's why we have this concept of lists, right? Lists just basically help you to store similar types of data in in one, I guess, in one variable, in one thing, right? So back to the whole calculator example, we can say that let's say we're told to calculate. Sorry, just give me a second. All right, back to the calculator. Let's say we're told to calculate. Let's see. I'm trying to think of an example. Wait, let me pause this and think of it. All right, I thought of an example. Let's say you have a table of the different. Oh, sorry. You have a table of the different days of the week, right? Um, and you want to calculate the profit for each day of the week. So you have Monday, here you have Tuesday, you have Wednesday, and you want to calculate the profit. So here, let's say the profit was $20 or something. You want to calculate the total profit. Here was like $30, and here was like let's say negative $10 or something like that. And you want to calculate the profit, right? So with a calculator, I guess you just have to do 20 plus this and plus, let's say, this plus 30 plus minus 10, right? Now with this, right, I mean, you could ideally do the same thing. Oh, sorry, you could ideally do the same thing, right? Let's say you have Monday, you have Tuesday. You can just do, Monday minus Tuesday, Monday plus Tuesday plus Wednesday plus Thursday. But sometimes, let's say you have like, let's not even say just these days, right? Let's say you have a list of customers. Let's say you have like 2,000 customers, and you want to see how much each customer has paid you or something like that, right? So lists, this just makes it easier. So like from this example, I guess you'll be able to appreciate them more when we get to this things called loops, right? loops, but for now just kind of get this concept of just lists. So for example, if let's say I want to print let's say how much profit did I make on Tuesday and Wednesday, right? I can just do profit profit is equal to weekdays, right? And then you use special marks, these special marks, and then you write the number, the what is it called, index of the letter. I'll explain this, just give me a second. Minus, let's say weekdays, oh no, let's say plus weekdays, weekdays 3, weekdays 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they're enough, right? And then profit. Oh, sorry, these are numbers, right? Oh, okay. Sorry, this is a letter. Sorry, so you don't. Let's say these were numbers or something like that, right? Because here it's just gonna print letters. It's gonna print them together. But let's say these were numbers. Let's say this was like 2,000. Let's say this was like 5,000. Let's say it corresponds to the day of the week. So let's say this was another 2,000. Sorry. And let's say this was just like, let's say 30 or something like that. And you want to print your profit, you can just do this. So 2030 weekday 2. Oh, because these are strings. Did I also mention, by the way, in the previous video, right? Did I mention that strings is anything in these marks, right? So even if it's a number, even if it's a boolean, right, the computer will basically read whatever you put in these things. It read them as strings, and whenever you tell the computer to basically add strings, what it does, it just is this the right English word? Concatenate. So if you have, like, let's say Peter, you have, let's say let's say RE or something like that, and you tell the computer RE plus let's say T or something, like plus let's say C or something like that, it will just put it together as REC. Yeah, but let's not go too much on that. But yeah, I just forgot to mention that. But sorry, just do this. So when we go back to this, let me just turn these into numbers. Sorry, right? Yeah. So let's run these. Wi-Fi again. Yeah, so 2030. So now let me explain what's happening here, right? So weekdays, you have this thing called index, right? So I guess if you're following, you're probably wondering, right? I said 2 here. So before I go there, basically whenever you have a huge list, right, a thingy with like a lot of values, to refer to a specific like thingy, we use this thing called index, right? Indexes, right? So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going on, right? So you just refer to which position it is. Now what I was saying before is, you notice that I said 2 here, and it took this 2 over here. Sorry, let me just clear that. It took this 2,000 here, yet this is the third if you're going in from like 1 and 2. So that's the thing about programming as well. uh, it's sometimes hard to like remember it and all these things, but this always starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? So whenever you have a list like this, when I say 0, I mean the index of it. So if let's say you want to say the first term in this list is actually this is a 0 term, right? So it always starts from 0. So whenever you're coding for a list or something like that, always remember that this starts from 0. So what I'm doing here now is I'm just saying I want weekdays, and I'm referring to the second term, so it'll go 0, 1, 2, and then weekdays the third term, and then basically this is the third term of weekdays, and then yeah, basically that. But yeah, I guess you get to appreciate it more when we go into loops. I'll give a very comprehensive example of it. Yeah.